Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. When we think of George Washington, we often picture the general on the battlefield or the statesman presiding over the new nation. But there's a quieter, more personal side to Washington that profoundly shaped the man he was, his faith. Today, we're diving deep into the religious life of America's first president. What did he truly believe, and how did it influence his leadership? Let's find out. George Washington was born into the Church of England, the established church in colonial Virginia. This was the world he grew up in, and throughout his life, he was a devoted member of the Anglican faith, which, after the American Revolution, became known as the Episcopal Church. He was baptized as an infant, served as a vestryman and church warden for his local parishes, Fairfax Parish and Truro Parish, for over 2 decades. These weren't just token positions, they were significant civic and religious responsibilities. He was involved in everything from managing church finances and property to caring for the local poor. Washington attended church services with regularity, though perhaps not every single Sunday, especially during the war. We have records of him purchasing pews for his family at both Stoic Church near Mount Vernon and Christ Church in Alexandria. When in Philadelphia as president, he and Martha regularly attended services at Christ Church and St. Peter's Church. His public life was steeped in the rhythms and rituals of his Anglican faith. But here's where it gets more complex. While Washington was a public Anglican, his private spirituality is a bit of an enigma. He rarely discussed his personal religious feelings in his letters or diaries. Instead of using overtly Christian language, he often referred to God with more deistic-sounding terms like Providence, the Almighty, or the Great Architect. This has led some historians to label him a deist. Someone who believes God created the universe but doesn't intervene in human affairs. However, this view is a bit too simplistic. While he used these broad terms, Washington's writings are also filled with a sense of an active, guiding divine hand. He consistently attributed American victory in the Revolution to the direct intervention of Providence after the miraculous escape from Brooklyn Heights. He wrote that he could not have succeeded without a signal stroke of Providence. This doesn't sound like a distant and involved creator. It sounds like a personal belief in a God who actively shapes history and answers prayers. He also frequently called for days of public prayer and thanksgiving, urging the nation to seek divine favor. So, was he a deist or a Christian? The most likely answer is that he was a man of his time, an enlightened Christian. He was deeply influenced by the rational thought of the Enlightenment, which favored reason and natural law, but he blended it with a sincere, inherited Anglican faith. He believed in a rational, orderly universe governed by a wise creator, but also in a personal God who cared for the fate of individuals and nations. This unique blend of faith and reason profoundly shaped his leadership style. Washington believed that religion and morality were the indispensable supports of political prosperity. In his famous farewell address, he warned the new nation, and let us with caution indulge the supposition that morality can be maintained without religion. For Washington, a virtuous citizenry was essential for a republic to survive, and he saw religion as the primary source of that virtue. His faith also fostered a deep sense of duty and humility. He saw his role not as a path to personal glory, but as a service ordained by Providence. He often spoke of his own inadequacies and his reliance on a higher power for guidance and strength. This humility was genuine. After 8 long years leading the Continental Army, he didn't seize power like a king. He resigned his commission and returned to his farm, an act that stunned the world and cemented his legacy as a true Republican leader. He believed his work was done, and it was time to return to private life, entrusting the nation's future to both its people and to Providence. Perhaps one of the most important legacies of Washington's faith was his unwavering commitment to religious freedom. Having lived in a colony with an established state church, he understood the dangers of religious coercion. He believed that every person should be free to worship according to their own conscience. This wasn't just talk. As commander-in-chief, he forbade his troops from burning an effigy of the Pope on Guy Fawkes Day, a common anti-Catholic tradition at the time. He wanted to ensure the support of Catholic allies in Canada and France, but it also showed his personal commitment to religious tolerance. His most powerful statement on this came in 1790, in a letter to the Hebrew congregation in Newport, Rhode Island. In it, he laid out a revolutionary vision for America. He wrote that the United States government gives to bigotry no sanction, to persecution no assistance. He went beyond mere toleration, which implies one group is allowing another to exist. Instead, he declared that all citizens possess inherent natural rights to worship as they please. He envisioned a nation where people of different faiths could live together as equal citizens under the law. This was a radical idea for its time, and it set a powerful precedent for religious liberty in the United States. He extended this goodwill to other groups as well, writing letters to Quakers, Baptists, and others, assuring them of their freedoms in the new republic. So, how do we sum up the faith of George Washington? He wasn't a fiery evangelist or a detailed theologian. He was a practical man of faith. A devoted Episcopalian, he was also a man of the Enlightenment who valued reason and natural law. He believed in a powerful, benevolent providence that guided the destiny of the United States. His faith gave him a strong moral compass, a profound sense of duty, and the humility to lead a new kind of nation. Most importantly, his belief in a just Creator led him to champion the rights of all people to worship freely, laying a cornerstone for one of America's most cherished principles. The quiet faith of George Washington wasn't always loud, but its impact on his leadership and on the character of the nation he helped build is undeniable. It reminds us that behind the public figure on our dollar bill was a man grappling with the biggest questions of life, duty, and the divine, just like the rest of us. Thanks so much for watching. What other historical figures would you like to learn more about? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into history. We'll see you in the next one.